Jones,
Yes,
got some fantastic news.
I'm listening.
Okay, well, from sources that I cannot reveal
Okay.
via internet,
Alright.
they told me to tell the public
Alright.
that the PS4 is officially among us.
Interesting.
What do you feel about this? Did
Well,
you watch the Ustream of it?
I was not. I was at a job interview. But, yeah, I've heard about it. I assumed that it was going to be something similar to that when they said we're announcing something big on February 20th. They did not disappoint. I believe it was you who was telling me it could have gone either one of two ways. It could have either been the PS4 or it could have been, hey guys, we really need you to buy a Vita.
Yeah, I'm gonna open my pop. Okay.
And I'm glad they didn't go with the, come on guys, please buy a Vita, and instead announced the PS4. But I'm not gonna lie to you, Tim. It's going to be interesting. This is a new world, and I don't know if I can just guarantee success for Sony at this point.
I was watching it, and he started talking and blah 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 blah, talking about how like PlayStation is the future in the new world and all that stuff, and he kept saying PS Vita, Vita this, Vita that, Vita this, Vita that, and I was starting to get nervous, like, oh my goodness, are they gonna say something? Oh, buy this Vita and upgrade our package. Or are they actually gonna say something cool and they end up saying the PS4 and everyone was like, oh my gosh, go get the PS4, the new generation. And then later on they were talking about all the specs and stuff, and I was talking to my friend, he's a PC guy, and he said he was watching it and he said, okay, when is something new gonna happen, because I've had all the crap you've been saying for 3 years. And they were like making a big deal about it, like 3.9 gigawatts of electricity.
Well, allegedly there was like, what was I telling you earlier? It was like it's going to be able to play games in 4K, which is supposedly like 4 times more power than 1080p or something like that. You know, it's just sort of interesting. Now, question: didn't you own a Vita at one point, or was that like another PSP variant? I remember you had a PSP, and then I thought you had a Vita.
No, I had a Go.
PSP Go, that's what it was.
I remember, I can't remember what year it was. For Christmas one year, I got the very first PSP.
Yeah.
And that was a bundle, and it came with ATV off-roading.
I think I remember hearing
and
about
then
that.
it came with a bundle between that and then Lords of Dogtown. That skate video came with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, what a deal! So Christmas morning, all I was doing was playing ATV, Off-Road Fury, and watching that maybe like 500 times straight. Because I got the PSP, and then I want to say Michael got the Wii.
So this would have been 2007?
I'm not sure.
2006 maybe?
Around there, I don't know. That was a fun Christmas. I got a PSP and a Magic Kit. And then Michael wouldn't let me play the Wii, so.
Wouldn't your hillbilly neighbor Kenny, didn't he come over to play with it that year?
And he
just so I could set the record for the audience. Guys are on Christmas, just hanging out, opening their presents.
Spending time with family.
Yeah, spending time with family, mom, dad, sister, whatnot. And their hillbilly friend, his friend might even be generous, just their hillbilly kid they knew, just comes in and goes, hey you guys.
What'd you get? What'd you get? Can I play? I mean, I guess. Which, keep in mind, my parents are nice people. They were appalled. And
were they generally shocked that
they were like, what is going on? Is this real? Which was even weirder because, like, we were all eating Chinese food. And, like, me, Michael, and my parents and my sister were eating Chinese food, and he was in the living room by himself playing Wii bowling. And the way he was bowling was, he would, like, actually run and, like, jump. And he was just banging around, jumping around, and we were sitting eating Chinese, watching this kid in our living room on Christmas playing Wii bowling by himself.
Man, you gotta wonder what's going on through that kid's head.
Who has the nerve?
He's in our nation's military now, I believe. That guy is
He's
over in someone else's country playing with their Wiis on their Christmas.
I kind of felt bad because, like, I got a PSP and Michael got the Wii and, like, stuff like that. And they're like, oh, what'd you get? I got some clothes in Madden. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's rough.
Okay, PS4, back on topic.
Okay.
The controller. Have you seen the controller?
Yeah. Sort of
the DualShock 4.
I guess the new rage following in the footsteps of the Nintendo Wii U is touchpads, which is basically
balls.
Let's take the touchpad idea that we've had since the DS and tablets since 2004
balls
and put them on the controller. And I'll give them some props, as opposed to the Wii, the new Wii, which just basically gave you an iPad with some extra buttons and stuff. This did a little bit of a nicer job of doing it.
A controller.
Yeah, it was actually a controller that wasn't just a giant tablet. But then I just realized now when I'm thinking about it. Now I want you to visualize you're holding a PS3 or PS4 controller. Are you supposed to take your thumbs off the analogs to do it? Because I don't know about you. My thumbs are kind of tiny, and that seems like it'd get in the way.
See, I kind of think you're supposed to take your right hand off.
Or are you supposed to put it down and then it becomes... Or, like, hold it, balance it, and then do it? Like, I just don't see the comfortable way to do it.
I don't think, when they were designing the controller, I don't think you had to do a balancing act. I gotta put this on my head and rub my stomach and touch it. I think you, with your right hand or left hand, I don't know, I don't care. Then you would touch it. See, because they got rid of the start and select buttons, and they got that new weird share button.
Yeah,
just absolutely. I don't know what I think about that. I don't know.
The social gaming aspect, because the whole point, and I agreed in some ways, but game developers seem to have this conception that, hey, everyone's plugged in Facebook, so that must mean everything needs to be connected to social media.
Yeah.
So the idea, from what I've heard, is you're going to be able to have. You'll be able to send gameplay footage of you playing to your friends to prove you did stuff, because...
you do it, I didn't see it.
Yeah, and then they can see on certain social media streams when you're playing a game and can hop in, which could be
and
cool or
they
bad.
said something about comments. Like, you could get friends could give your comments and help. And then they said that a friend could take control of your screen with their controller to help you through a part, which... Right in my mind, ooh, red flag. No, shut up, I can do it myself. It's part of playing a game. Figure it out yourself. That's why it's hard, that's why it's a game. What's the point of playing a game if, oh, I'm stuck, what do I do? John, can you help me? Yeah, give me your screen.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the PSN got hacked, so it kind of scares me to...
Give them more control.
Let's make it all social. You can control your screen. Okay, well, what if it gets hacked again? I don't know. I think they're asking for a lot.
Well, I think that's just the general way of how it's going forward, is the single-player experience is kind of being diminished by things like this, because they think social interaction and stuff.
You can play with your friends.
Because it's more convenient for them to be like, oh yeah, everyone's playing with their friends and stuff, because then you're spreading the message and you're sort of forcing the product on.
Yeah.
But, that sort of ties in like a lot of companies. Like I think Diablo 3 is a PC game where you have to stay online at all times, unless you're like, unless otherwise it's like, well, this guy's easily copywriting the game.
Yeah.
He's voiding it and pirating it. So I mean, it's just we all need to be connected, and it just sort of I've said it before, but I think gaming's sort of going towards more of a service thing instead of a product. Where one day, I think it's going to be.
You're going to pay monthly.
Thank you, Timothy Lay, for buying Skate 7. Your subscription, you pay us $50 for a year.
I would.
If we catch you doing what we think is you. Tampering with the game, pirating, engaging in activities that breach our thing, we'll just end your subscription and make sure,
you don't play skate game again. Yeah. Which, I'd be done with gaming, to be honest. Okay. This is one reason why I don't play WoW.
Yeah.
And I don't play other games like that, like RuneScape or other games like this, because I don't like paying monthly. I like paying, or yearly, or I don't care, same thing. I want to pay a certain amount of money one time so I can play the game the rest of my life. I don't want to give us $15 more and we can unlock your server.
Well, yeah, the microtransactions and stuff like that.
Yay, get it out.
You see, that's it was cool, a little bit of an interesting, everyone's trying to experience with pay models and different things, but you know, it sucks they're trying to, you know, innovate on that one. Really, I think you've really hit sort of a, in my opinion, a good point. Your price point is probably like 20 for a budget used game, then anywhere from 40 to maybe 60 for new games, depending. DLC is one of those things that's really kind of got bastardized, in my opinion.
That ruined
like, it went from, like, if I legitimately enjoy a game, I have no problem, you know, giving $5 to, like, okay,
getting more of the game.
Yeah, but, like, DLC that's on the disc that should be unlocked, but just, you know,
have to pay for it?
You have to pay for it. It's just getting to a point where they're getting really greedy.
Yeah, game developers are like, hey, I heard you like Dead Space 3, so we're gonna put all this extra junk.
Yeah, that
but you have to pay me
$60 up front, then microtransactions, real world currency to upgrade your gun in the game.
Like, oh, I have to get the best gun.
Yeah,
give us $15, and then we're put some extra
passes and things
and
like that.
Yeah, like I remember Homefront. That was the first game I had to buy an online pass for, and I was shocked.
Yeah,
I was like, what? This is ridiculous. I bought because it just came out and it was used for $30. And I was like, whoa, what the heck? Like, why is this so cheap? And I bought it at Play and Trade actually. And the dude was like, well, it's 30, but the activation code's 10, so it's really 40. And I was like, wait, what? What's going on?
Scumbags.
And he's like, well, you have to activate it to play it online. Or Leviosa. And then I go home, get on PSN, and the activation code's like 11 something. So I get it, doesn't download. So I try all night, finally get it to download. Dad's pissed because I used his credit card. It was just... And then I didn't even play it online that much.
So, yeah, you just sort of
Note to self, don't buy used games that do not come with activation codes.
So you just have to wonder sort of where the PS4 is going with, like, scumbag practices like that versus, like, I genuinely like the idea where we're at a point now with games where they can look stunning. You can add, you know, just a variety of features. I think when implemented correctly, I think touchscreens can be helpful in things. Just from, like, here's a good example, I think, like, we can get past the days where I have to pull up a menu and a pause screen and interrupt gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, say you're running, and then you can, while you're running or walking somewhere doing something, you can just pull it up.
Yeah.
Like, I think using it like that, I don't like the gimmicks where it's like, well, hit this.
Look at the touch screen.
But, you know, I like that. I think graphics, well, not always the thing you should be focusing on. Improvements are always nice. You know, I'm just very curious to see where it goes. But like I've said before, from my humble opinion, I am not guaranteeing them success. I do agree with the people who say the industry... I remember reading an interesting statistic. They said console sales peaked at something like 55 million in 2008 and have been on a steady decline ever since.
Oh, yeah, totally agree. What was the last console you bought?
My last console, I got an Xbox for $200, 360 last fall, but that was because it's a Black Friday deal and it was
$200.
It was, you know,
Is it a new black one?
Yeah, it was like one of the. It had a ton of space on it. Came with Skyrim in this racing game.
Do you want to know the last console I bought?
What?
PS2, $30. I got the 360 for Christmas. Traded that in for the PS3 I have now. I haven't bought a console since I want to say the PSP Go.
Yeah.
But that's a handheld thing.
Yeah.
So I'm all like pumped up for the PS4 and stuff, but I was thinking, I have not bought a console in like 7 years. And I was like, how much is it going to be? He's like, I was talking to my buddy, he's like, well, like, depending on, like, PS, like, 3 and, like, stuff like that, it's going to be around 400 to, like, 800. And I was like, that's a lot of money. I mean, I got sick. Yeah. Because I can't imagine, I've never paid that much for something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I kind of think, you know, on one hand, it's just that this is supposed to be an every so often thing. I don't think you should be purchasing new consoles like every 2 or 3 years. But yeah, it's been a while. So at 2005, 2006, really, since we've been through this, I always kind of dread the console launches, to be honest with you, because you're always going to get this period where, oh, it's a sweet new console, awesome new hardware, but it's like, dude, there's 4 games out.
Yeah.
You pray that one of them. We were lucky with like the Wii. I think the Wii had, when I got it, like it had Twilight Princess, so that got you through. But usually there's like
that game.
Here's 6 launch games. You could, half of them will probably be good. You'll think some of them are good, but only because like it's compared to, oh, I could sit here with my thumbs twiddling, or I could play this, and then you look back, you'll be like, man, I thought this game was good. This was the best we had.
The worst feeling is like on Christmas Day, or like for your birthday, or when you get a new console, and there's not a lot of games out for it because they haven't been made yet.
Yeah.
And like you're just playing it, it's like, oh man, I wish I could play something else, but I can't. So I'll just keep playing this, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is a pit of despair,
yeah.
And there's not candy at the bottom.
Yeah, just sort of rough console launches.
You know what? I've said it once, and I'm going to say it again.
All right.
Would you rather pay $500 for a new console?
Okay.
Or get 500 McChickens?
Gotta go with the console just because McChickens are fleeting. How are you going to warm and keep those things
see,
secure?
That's rough. I'd probably put a couple... I'd probably eat 10 right off the bat.
Yeah.
And then put 590...
Yeah.
Or 490 in my... Well, I'd split it off. I'd put half in the freezer, half in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
And then, worst comes to worst, you eat a cold chicken patty.
I mean, for me, it's 2 McChickens a day.
Keeps the doctor away.
So that's 250 days. That's a majority of the year.
Man, that is so much McChickens.
I don't think... I'd see that. I'd want the console. But yeah. Going back to an earlier point, I just think games are heading towards sort of the iPad, tablet, just the mobile and online front, and you can see this with the DS struggling. I think the gaming market's just changing. These companies are going to have to adapt or die, and I'm thinking companies that we kind of associate with gaming but haven't really are really going to rise. I'm saying before the year 2020, I think Apple and Valve with the Steam box, or however they're doing their approach, are going to be really big names. I think comparable to Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony now.
Really?
I think those names will be, if not, I don't want to be like, oh, they're going to kill them, but I think they'll be, hey, who do you support? Like, the console wars will be like, well, it's Apple versus Microsoft versus Valve versus Nintendo versus Sony.
That's interesting.
So...
I'm trying to think. PS4 when's the new Xbox coming out? They haven't said anything about that.
Nothing about that.
Okay. Do you think that Microsoft watched Sony, like their announcements was like, psh, wow, we can do better than that, or were they scared poopless?
I don't really know. I think they're scared poopless not by like their competition. I don't think
It's going to be out before them?
But I think they're just scared because if you look at what they're doing, they're kind of smart in the way that I think they've truly grasped onto the concept, which I don't know if I could say with Nintendo or Sony. They were like, man, we're getting clocked by people who'd rather just play Angry Birds on their tablet. We've got to make the Xbox not just... It's a video game system. We've got to make this an entertainment system.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Like they're very much trying to make it like the movies with the Netflix and streaming stuff. Very much trying to make it so you can do your social media things on there, and they're really trying to make your Xbox not this is where I play video games. They're trying to make that this is where I do my technological stuff.
Yeah.
So for better or for worse, that's where I think they're going. If that means they're going to do more like Connect stuff and just try and reach the broadest possible audience, I don't know.
See, do you think kids, like back in like when arcade was transforming into like NES and like Atari,
the arcades. So the arcades sort of
arcade
crash.
console.
Do
you think they were feeling the same way we're feeling right now? Like, oh well, I don't know.
Well, for a long time, I remember from what I've read is correct. They thought video games were just a fad, like, oh wow, well, that was like yo-yos and,
See, what scares me the most about the PS4 is they said a lot like social networking, social media, social, and like they showed like screenshots of like what your PSN profile, make it more personal, and like they actually showed like real pictures of you.
Yeah.
So they're trying to put like the gaming. I don't want to say they're going to put it on the back burner.
Yeah.
But they're pushing the social garbage so like far past gaming, and then like they're like, oh no, gaming.
Because it comes at a certain point, I think, and this is just my opinion. I don't really have data to back this up, but like I think we're at a point now. Like, I'm not saying graphics can't get better because I think they always can, or at least they should be able to. But I think you're gonna go from a certain point. Like you go from like NES to Super Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
That is massive. Like it looks noticeably different. But now it's like you take average Joe Schmo.
You take 360. You
like,
take PS3 to PS4,
and they'll be like,
it's better.
It's a little bit nicer, but it's not. Holy cow! I just crap
it's
my
like
pants.
playing a game on standard and HD.
Yeah.
You could play
like if you
it on
sit
the
there and be like,
PS4.
look, they're different. I'll be like, yeah, I could see it, but it's not.
The gun has more smoke, and the textures, and we got a better texture pack.
But yeah, so I'm curious. It'll be big.
Are you buying one? That's my question to you. Are you gonna buy a PS4 Zachary John Jones?
I probably will not, just because I have some catching up to do with the Xbox 360 still, and I'm still, with the Nintendo fanboy I am, I still need to get a Wii U, even though that's starting to be like, ugh, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Like, I want Pikmin 3, I've wanted that since 2004, but other than that, I'm like, what else you got for me? Well, check this out. 2D New Super Mario Brothers Wii U. Isn't that the same game you gave me in like 2009?
No. This one has multiplayer.
Looks better, and then you can have a fifth player. He puts platforms on the screen with the touchpad,
and he can help you get through the levels.
Yeah.
Wait, so is like if we're playing 4-player,
you're playing 4. So let's say me, you, and then 2 of our friends.
But then that fifth friend that
and
we
then
don't
say
really
your
like,
dad comes in, it's like, hi, is there any space for me? Then we give him the big giant tablet thing.
Or we could give the friend that we don't really care about or like the tablet thing, and he'll be like, can I play? And then we'll be like, no, you're a fag. And then put the platforms down.
He has the tablets, and he touches them, and then they appear, which is kind of cool. I don't know.
I like for 5 minutes, maybe?
I like that gameplay style where it's like 4 versus 1. Like you could have...
Oh, yeah. I think that's the only cool thing about it.
I like that idea where you could have, like, what if it was 4 people versus this giant monster? Or being a nerd, like, what if we had one guy's, like, the boss in a dungeon, we have 4 little links running around? Like, I think you can pull off some cool gameplays with that, but I don't know about a lot of it.
So, PS4 is that a yes or a no? No.
That is a no for me, and I don't know about... And Xbox, I'll probably wait until then. It'll be like 2000. It'll be like 2021. I'll get the Xbox 720 on Black Friday for like a cheap price, and then we'll be asking like, so are you getting the Xbox Infinite? And it'll be like,
are you getting the PS5?
That weird guy who just waits till the end.
Or are you getting the new Apple console? Oh, spoiler! Apple's coming out with a console called the Peach. The Peach. Apple comes out with a console.
I would, if I was them.
And the controllers are iPhones.
Okay.
Oh!
Apple, not the Peach. It's a system that connects with each other, and they give it the really dumb name, the Orchard.
Oh my god, that
Apple
is perfect.
Orchard.
We cannot let them find out about this.
When you're in the Orchard, you're playing games with your friends. Hey, Billy, what you playing? Playing Angry Bird with my friend in California, but I'm in Michigan.
The Orchard.
We're all together in the Orchard.
Like, they're sending you a shirt and like hats, and the hat will be the top of an apple with like the stem and the leaf. Oh, he belongs to the Orchard. It'll turn into a big faction, and it'll be the Orchard versus the Sony Knights and the Microsoft Knights, and there'll all be a clash, and there'll be a giant gang battle. And that's how the world we're in. 2025, Orchards, Sony Knights, and Microsoft Knights.
All right.
Well, that concludes.
That's
podcast number 3.
Whoa, weren't we talking about the music thing? Or are we cutting it short?
See, I kind of want to do that next, because I mean, look at that. It's already 24 minutes.
All right.
I want to have an hour
But
and a half.
okay,
podcast.
but not the music thing. But can we at least give a shout out to?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
I totally forgot. Drew Jacobs. Okay, whoever's listening to this, do me a favor right now. I'm probably gonna put the link in the description of this song. If you caught it in the intro, we flashed a picture of Drew Jacobs. Basically, this 13-year-old boy, no lie, sings with the same record company that Rebecca Black signed.
A Friday thing.
Yeah, and his song is called My Team, and it is probably the greatest song on the face of the planet.
I'm not. I mean, on merit alone, this should have been a bigger hit than Friday.
Oh, totally.
Because he's got
He's
the
a
same.
13-year-old boy, and he's singing his little heart out.
I mean, I like the themes of that. Like, well, Rebecca was just really psyched to eat cereal and go to school. This kid's talking about, his homies, his girl.
He's on a longboard.
Troubles with life.
Yeah. When life gets rough, I'll always be there.
Now, is Patrice in that one? The black guy?
No, he's not. And if he was in it, it'd be 10 times better.
So that's probably what made it not successful.
Probably he wasn't.
I wonder if there's a beef between Patrice and this kid.
Between Patrice and Drew Jacobs, fight of the century. Screw all these console garbage. Let's see Patrice versus Drew Jacobs.
TMZ reporting on the drama between teen sensation Drew Jacobs and Patrice.
Gosh, he has his own website. Believe it or not,
Patrice or Drew Jacobs.
Drew Jacobs. I might put his. You know what? I will. I'm gonna put the link to his website in the description. All right, that concludes episode 3. Leave comments telling us what you think about the PS4. What console do you think is going to be better? If you're going to get it or not. Subscribe if you want to, which I hope you do, because that'd be pretty rad. What else? Like us on Facebook.
Yep.
If you every minute I don't get a subscription or like, I'm gonna punch Jones in the knees.
Yeah, and I have pretty bad knees. So
from
help
the
me out.
war. All right. Well, Jones, any last words?
None for me, Tim.